Hello, team players, and welcome to the beginning of Monster Mash, my very first video of it. Today I'm talking about the Ghost archetype, because I'm going to be using it for my very first build of Monster Mash, the Headless Knight. Most of you guys probably know the feats from the Book of the Dead from this archetype, but I am going to go over them just in case, but I'll do it rather quickly, because I do want to go over the feats from the new Shining Kingdoms book for most of this video. So, for the Ghost dedication, you get the basic undead benefits. As Necryl as a language, low light vision, healed by negative effects, damaged by positive effects. You're not destroyed when you're at 0 HP. Dying works normally, but things like stabilize don't work on you. You have immunity to death effects, and you can fly, but only a few inches off the ground. For actual flight, you need a different feat. Plus, you can spend 10 minutes to transmute physical objects into your incorporeal form. You can also make them corporeal again using this ability. Your unarmed attacks are magical and deal negative damage. You keep your strength score, but you can only use athletics actions against other incorporeal creatures. You need an extra feat in order to use them on corporeal creatures. With the Frightful Moan feat, once per 10 minutes, each living creature in a 30-foot emanation has to make a will save against being frightened. And with Ghostly Resistance, you can reduce your HP to gain resistance to most damage, but not force positive or from a ghost touch weapon. Ghostly Grasp gives you the advanced undead benefits, which are Dark Vision, plus 2 bonus on saves against diseases and poisons, poison resistance equal to half your level, plus bonus on saves against paralysis and sleep. In addition, you can now use athletics actions on corporeal creatures and objects. And you can interact with physical objects, but you need an athletics or a thievery check to do so. With Ghost Flight, you can fly for any height for 10 minutes once per day. And pass through is exactly what it sounds like. You can pass through one object with a successful acrobatics check. If you fail the acrobatics check, though, you trigger reactions as normal for moving. With Rejuvenation, if you die, you come back to 2d4 days later unless your unfinished business is resolved. And finally, with Unlimited Ghost Flight, you can fly as high as you want, as much as you want. And when you use Ghost Flight, you increase your speed by 10 feet instead of just being able to fly for a little while. Alright, now we can talk about the new feats from Shining Kingdoms, which some of these are really good, honestly. So we're going to start with Headless Haunt, which is required for just about every feat I'm going to cover from now until the end of this video. It does have an access requirement that you need to have been killed by a final blade, so your GM may or may not require that. You gain the Remove Head action. You can interact to remove your head. You can use it to look around, and you can leave the head behind, but head cannot move, and the body gains the blinded and deafened condition. Also, while your head is removed, you cannot use any ability that requires you to speak or vocalize. Your head also cannot be more than 50 feet away from your body. If it is, or it takes damage, then it reappears on your body automatically. You can also recall your head at any time. It's an okay feat, but what you really want this for is all the other feats it gives you access to, some of which are actually very good. Next up is Fling Head. You can spend 1 to 3 actions to have your head wail. Then your head returns to your body. One creature within range makes a will save per action you take, and you can frighten enemies depending on how well they do on their saving throw. And if they at least fail the saving throw, they can't reduce their frightened condition below 1 while they're within 30 feet of you. This is a really good feat. You can get up to Frightened 3 on up to 3 enemies. And it keeps them frightened for as long as you stay within 30 feet, which is a pretty long distance. Next we have Haunting Memories. You can temporarily become an expert in any untrained skill, or a master in a trained skill, until next daily preparations. You also gain 1 skill feat that you could gain with your new rank in the skill. Your level for this skill feat is equal to half your level. When you pick up this feat at level 8, you can pick up to a 4th level skill feat. But most of the time, you're going to be picking a 2nd level skill feat for an expert skill. In order to take a feat that you need master in for the skill, you need to be level 14, which is pretty high. But this is still a very good feat. It's basically just a better version of Ancestral Memories from the elf. Just getting expert or master in a skill for one day is absolutely insane. And you get a skill feat on top of that. Next we have Klinggeist. You can possess an unattended weapon of 2 woke or less that deals slashing damage. When you do so, you have a space of 5 feet, but you don't block or impede enemies. You are trained in this weapon unless you already have better proficiency, and you can make strikes with the weapon as if you were wielding it. You also have a fly speed of 30 feet, which could be greater than your actual fly speed. But while possessed, you can only fly and strike, but you don't trigger any reactions when you're flying or striking. You have an AC of 18 plus your level, and the hardness and hit points of the weapon you're possessing. You can't be disarmed, and you can't be directly injured except by spirit damage. If you're reduced to 0 hit points, or the weapon is broken or destroyed, you are ejected from it and paralyzed for 1 round. The effect lasts for 10 minutes or until you dismiss it otherwise. Most enemies aren't going to attack a freaking flying weapon. And even if they do, they can't directly damage you unless they have spirit damage. Which, spirit damage is actually pretty rare. And, as I said, this feat can give you a better speed than you would normally have. You can only use this feat once per day, but it's still a fantastic feat. And lastly, we have Ghostly Condemnation. Once per day, you can cast Vision of Death on one enemy within 120 feet using your class or spell DC, whichever is higher. If you slay a significant foe, such as a boss, with this ability, all of its allies within 50 feet make a will save against being frightened. This is actually pretty good. First off, Vision of Death does not have the incapacitation trait, which means you can use it very effectively against bosses, especially ones with low will saves. And while it doesn't automatically kill the target, even if they crit fail, you can kill them with the damage it deals. Plus, it makes them frightened, which makes this even better. Headless Haunt by itself may not be a great feat, but it leads to some very good feats. If you're excited for the rest of Monster Mash, you'll definitely want to subscribe to this channel, as well as 20-Sided Ventures channel, as we will both be covering this type of thing during this month. If you're interested in talking about monsters, you can do so on my Discord server. And if you want any of my Monster Mash videos early, you can check out my Patreon page. Links to all of those are in the description below. And if you like this video, you might like this other video I have on screen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.